Hi everybody, welcome to Beyond the Lines. My name is Sarah, I'm the artist behind Pinselgeschichten, and today I'm finishing this page here in the Outlander coloring book. This is done. I'm working with colored pencils and gel pens just to add the last tiny little bits of detail, and I will talk to you about why I chose those media and, well, show you how I work. So enjoy! So here we go, time for the final little bits. I do have my random selection of colored pencils with me, no particular brand. And I just want to enhance a couple of things here. So I need blue, need probably, let's go bit by bit, shall we? So blue, yellow, brown, and gray and skin tones. These are the colors I'm choosing first. And I'm starting with a little yellow and a little light, throwing things, a little light ochre. So I had said in the last video that I just wanted to enhance the contrast and details on the two guys, and this is the wrong sharpener. Let's get another one. Because you gotta get the right sharpener for different kinds of pencils for that to work. So that works better. Ooh. Of course I'm throwing things, which is not good. So let's see. Now, there we go. So I'm just gonna start with those brush bits here, just adding a tiny little bit of pigment from the pencils. Also a little of a darker brown. And the same goes for the wooden part of the brush. I mainly chose to not add all the details with the Derwent pencils and blocks because I don't have the correct flesh tones. So I wanted to add a little bit of a flesh color on top of the skin tones. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to add the details on the boys with my colored pencils. You could use any type of brand that you like, but I just chose my very cheap Faber-Castells. They are not very expensive. You get like a set of, I think, 120 colors for like maybe 15 euros or something. I don't remember what I actually paid for it. I bought them for a different kind of video. It was a Beyond the Lines video as well. I think it was called Jamie and Claire. They're sitting in front of the fireplace. And I was asked by one of my viewers to show them how to work with, well, cheaper supplies. So in case you cannot afford polychromos or Prismacolors and you still want to work with colored pencils and achieve pretty nice results, you can definitely do that. with these cheaper Faber-Castells, and I showed it in that video, so that's why I bought them. I'm just going over bits and pieces of the hair here, adding a little more oomph and a little more detail. That's always the final step that I take on my coloring pages, especially when I use mixed media. If I only work with colored pencils, I'm layering as well. But I add details on the go for particular sections. I'm not really doing that when I work with mixed media. I'm working more in the way of, okay, underpainting and then adding layers on top. You could go section by section too and do the underpainting and then add details on top right away, but I don't have the biggest art table here, so I need to make sure that I have enough space, so I'm actually very fond of just having one supply out at a time. So I wanted to add a little bit of a skin tone to the boys here, so I'm just taking a flesh colored pencil and just going on top, pinkening up the skin part a bit. I'm still keeping that, I think it was called Sicilian yellow. I'm still keeping that underneath, but I'm just adding a pinkish tint to the skin there. Just to knock back the yellow a tiny little bit. Especially here on the forehead. Also here on this arm. This time I'm not forgetting to have a bit of a clip for my vlogging camera, because I forgot in the last video. So I'm taking a bit of a warmer pink tone to go over the lips, for example. Some of the parts of the skin as well. And I'm having a medium light touch here. Okay, then I can move on to my blue pencils, and I think this one is the best one to work on the vest. Just enhancing a bit darkening some things up. I still want the underpainting to be visible and peek through quite a bit. So I'm not going to add too much of the pencil, but I just want to have a little extra here. And I could have easily gone in with my Inktense pencils and added that as well. I'm taking the purple, by the way. This is a color I hadn't used before, so I'm just going to add that on top very lightly, just to darken some of the blue, enhancing some of that dark shadow here. And I could have gone on top again with the Inktense pencils, but I had said in the last video that I felt, okay, I have trouble controlling my hand. Keep it, keep it as steady as I need it with a brush. So I can work a little longer if I just change up my supply and move to colored pencils in this case. And like that I can work a little longer on an art piece and record more videos all in one go. And some of these smaller items here are just easier to color with a colored pencil instead of a brush. It's definitely doable with a brush too, but you might have to have a very steady hand, which I don't always have when I've been working for quite a couple of hours already. The purple is not really too distinct, like it looks bluish, it's just an enhancement of the blue color underneath. I'm not adding an absolutely new color that just stands out a lot. So be brave and go for a purple or a different kind of a blue that you haven't used before if you want to enhance a bit and make things pop out. So you see I'm using purple here on the shirt as well as the blue, and also a gray pencil. And I had used Payne's Gray for the underpainting here. And I'm using a neutral gray now, so less of a bluish tint. That's why I'm adding the purple and the blue on top, just to keep with the same tint of the gray. So I can stop the vlogging camera. It's enough for now. Now I can just move on with coloring without having to think about another camera. I'm pretty much just going all around the page now, checking, okay, where do I need to add a little more? Where do I need to smooth things out or enhance things? And then I'm just going on top and adding a little bit of my colored pencil. These are wax-based colored pencils, so they're not as creamy as, say, the polychromos, but that's totally fine for me. They do their job with what I want to accomplish here, what I want to do, what I want to show you. So I don't necessarily need to have the polychromos out. And honestly, I was thinking about getting the polychromos out of the shelf, but then I thought, I do have all the other artwork supplies next to me here. My table is kind of crowded, and the polychromos in their trays, they do take quite a bit of space. So I thought, nah, I'm just gonna go with my cheapies here and work with them. So I'm adding a little bit of black. Gotta sharpen that pencil. And as I had said before in the videos, the light comes from the lower left-hand side. So I'm shading a little stronger towards the right-hand side of things. So I guess just squinting very quickly. That helps with determining if your values are correct. And I just saw that I needed a bit of a darker shade here and also here. Yep, that's good. Now I can move on to the hooves here. I wanted to add a little bit of black to these two, like so. And then maybe a little more of the brown here. Just a bit of black. Yeah, that's more like it. So Hamish is done. All the horses here on the right hand side are done. So I just gotta take care of this horse that horse and Jamie and the chair. Like I said, it's really fast. I mean, for the colored pencils. I will come back with gel pens in a minute. But for the colored pencils, I really don't need to add a lot. So I'm starting with a cooler shade of a dark brown here on the tail of the horse. And I could use a little bit of black up here on that horse. Just coloring in some of the hairs. Because I lost a little bit of detail when I put in that very dark brown here. I can still see it a tiny little bit, but really just a tiny bit on the right angle. So I'm drawing in whatever I can see, just to not make this kind of like a helmet for the horse, but make it look like hair. I mean, that part of the horse is way more in the shadow as other parts are, so I don't have to be too particular, but still I want to have some detail in. Even with colored pencils, I turn my page to have my hand rest as comfortably as possible on the desk. While I'm at it, I can actually go in with my dark brown, add a tiny little bit onto the horse. I really don't need much. I added quite a bit of shadow and such already with the Inktense. Just darkening up the eyes a little more. This is where my gel pens will come in later on, because I want to have the white in the eyes visible and such, the reflection. But gel pens are always the last thing that I add to an art piece. So I'm gonna wait a little longer. Adding black pencil to the hair of the tiny little horsey. And I guess this is not gonna be a very long video, at least I hope so. Should be done fairly quickly here, because I'm just adding a few squiggles here and there and a little bit of shading, you know. Going in with my brown to enhance some of the lines on the ears. And it helps to just go over the ink lines that were given by the illustrator. You lose a little bit of crispiness when you work with Inktense. They can, well, it looks kind of milky or not very crisp when you color on top of the black ink lines with the Inktense pencils or the blocks. But you can always get it back by either adding a fine liner on top or just like I'm doing here, adding a little colored pencil over a few lines so you can make him a little more visible again. My pencil is kind of sharp, but it just needs a couple of turns. There we go. As you can see, I'm really not adding much, it's just a bit, but it makes all the difference. So I encourage you to spend that time on your artwork and just add a little more. A little more here on the hind leg of Mama Horse, and then I can move on to the black. So I just want these tiny hairs here visible. Maybe on the tail I'm also gonna add a little black, not just the brown. Okay. For that leather part here, I'm also using my black pencil. Just going over some of the leathery bits here. I'm going to go over that metal ring and this buckle here with my gel pens later. So at this point I can move on to Jamie, and I'm going to use my blue pencil again, my dark blue. Going to add just a little more here on these creases and folds. And going to add a little black. Up here on that part. And also down here. little more of my gray. And that's all for the hat already. Now I can move on to the hair. Ooh. Oh no, my rubber band just snapped. So I'm taking an orange pencil and maybe a reddish brown. Let's see. Ooh, that didn't work. Oh, the tip just broke. So I gotta get that out of my pencil sharpener. There we go. Now I can try to sharpen my pencil again. Broke again, so I'm taking the other one. I think these are, yep, this is definitely the pencil that the kids are using, and they're throwing things and letting them roll off the table and bump. So let's see if I can manage to sharpen this with a different kind of a pencil sharpener. That's not too shabby. So I'm going in on the lower part of the hair, and on the upper part I'm actually taking more of a red. And also a brown, something like this. Just to darken up some of those curls. To not make it look so flat, you know. And I'm doing the same thing as I did with Hamish, putting some of the skin tone on top. And a little bit of that warmer pink. But only where there's shadow on the face and on his lips, of course. So Jamie is supposed to have really blue eyes. So I'm just taking a light blue for his eyes. And he has a different kind of a gray shirt than Hamish does. So I'm going in with gray and black instead of blue, purple and gray. And I'm just going over those little lines again that the artist already drew in. Just upping the contrast a bit. Smoothing things out a tiny little bit with my gray pencil here. And I'm also adding some down here that I hadn't put in with the ink tints yet. Again, smoothing it out with my gray pencil. And I think that's enough for his shirt. Now I can move on to his arms and hands. Again, I'm using the flesh tone. And I'm just layering that on top of the Sicilian yellow. Now onto his pants. They were colored in a sepia black, which is kind of a brownish black, so I'm very softly going on top with my black pencil. Just darkening some things up. So this is in the shadow, as is this upper part here. The light comes from this side, so all of this is way lighter, and I'm not gonna go there with my pencil. I'm going to enhance these seams here a bit. Also here is a shadow where the knee bends. And then I can move on to his stockings. They do have more of a bluish tint, bluish gray. So I'm starting with a little bit of blue. And then, ooh, wrong pencil. Ah, that was brown, not gray. And I'm dropping my gray pencil. So I'm coloring in the rest with my light gray. Using a tiny little bit of black here on these wrinkles. And I'm just adding the lightest touch of purple here to the right hand side. Really just very, very light touch. And I did that because I used purple on Hamish. So now I can move on to his shoes. So here. And now I just have to add a little bit of color to that stool that he is sitting on, and I'm choosing a warm dark brown just to enhance the wood grain a bit. And if I'm not mistaken, I can move on to the gel pens after that. I will add a little bit of black here too. There we go. Maybe a little bit of yellow just to brighten that tan colored underpainting a little bit. There we go. And now I can move on to my gel pens. First, I want to put in the white. And then the silver. And maybe like a copper or something for those buttons. And the shoe buckles and such. But let's start with silver. Let's have silver on his jacket. Or on his vest, better said. Because I think it just fits better with the blue. So, same for his pants. That's fine. He's gonna get copper on his pants and such. So he's got 2 buttons here. Number 1, number 2. And he's got a buckle on his shoe. And I gotta turn that page. Need a little bit of silver here. Also here. Let's see if I need anything else. I don't think so, but I have to double, triple, quadruple check. I think I need a little more of the copper down here. It's hardly visible. That's better. So I got the horse. Got the shoes, got the pants, got the pants, got the vest. And I don't think that there's any other metal pieces here. So this would be my page. I hope you enjoyed watching along. If you have questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. Next week I'm gonna move on to this wonderful page here. I have no idea yet what I'm gonna do with it, but I'm gonna find out. And I will hopefully see you next Thursday on this format. The blog post is up an hour after this video goes live, so in case you want to know what pencils I used and what gel pens and such, you can read up on that. Thank you very much for watching. Take good care. Have a lovely, lovely day, and have fun coloring or painting or drawing. Just do something artwork related, right? Okay, I'm gonna see you. Bye.